So we're still in Colombia, and this is the episode where Dorinda goes really low with the Countess Luann. Like I said in my last review, I'm not hyped about this episode because y'all know I love Dorinda, and I don't like seeing her just be so mean. You know what I mean? Like, I like that she stands up for herself, and I love when, like, you know, gangsta Dorinda shows up. But I don't know. I just feel like this season she's becoming increasingly mean, and I don't know. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch. So I'm not excited about this episode, but I'm dedicated to this franchise, so I'm gonna get into it. Let's do it. You know what? Before we get into the Colombia trip, can we talk about how Carol has a type? She really, really does, because I was looking at the recap from last week's episode, and they were talking about the French guy or whatever, the guy with the scarf, and to me, he looks like an older Adam. I was just like, look at you, Carol. You just can't shake Adam. 1000% agree with Dorinda. Bethany is in a situation where life is rough. Life is really, really rough for her right now, and she doesn't have any real allies. She's gotten something with Carol. She's gotten something with Dorinda. You know, she's made like waves with Tinsley. She's gotten into something with Ramona. The only one she really does have is Countess Luann, but she's dealing with so much. It would be horrible of her to try to lean on her during this time. And can I just say, she's going through a lot. She's back in a rehab. She won't be at the reunion, which is heartbreaking. But I'm glad that she's getting the help that she needs, because apparently she relapsed due to the stress that she's having from her ex-husband and her children suing her. Guys, I don't get it. I don't understand. My parents have not been the best. You know what I mean? They also haven't been the worst. You know what I mean? Like, I had very young parents who were figuring it out as they went. And as an adult, there are some things I don't agree with that was done when I was younger or whatever. But I love them. I could never sue my mother or my father. Even my sisters, like, and they get on my nerves. I love them, but whoo, they a lot. No, but I love my sisters. Just in case they watching. No, I love y'all. But when I heard the news, I was like, you're suing your mother? The woman that gave you life, that pulled you out of her freaking birth canal? You're suing her over and maybe it's because I grew up without money. I just don't understand. Like, I can't fathom any dollar sign to make me just be enraged enough to sue my mother, and then not even drop the lawsuit after she relapses and goes back into rehab. Like, I would have been like, you know what? This is breaking Mom's heart. Maybe even if the father put them up to it, I would have been like, listen, Dad, I can't do this. My mom she's not okay. Like, she's not fine, but they're still suing her because I guess she mismanaged their funds. And I told y'all, these people really don't have a lot of money. Or they have a lot of money to us, but they have to keep up with the Joneses and the parents on this show to remain relevant. So a lot of them go into debt. A lot of them do things that are not wise to appear to have money. That's why a lot of them get caught up by the feds, and then a lot of them get in these kind of situations that Countess Luann has gotten into, because the kids are saying that she mismanaged their funds, and the father is saying that he gave her money for the children and she did not use it on them. She used it on herself, and she did something with the house. Or I get it. I understand. You know what I mean? I understand being frustrated. I don't understand suing your mama. I could never. And I'm not casting no judgment on anybody who has done it, but it's still like, what? Like, for me, it's unimagible. I could never, ever. Especially not my mama. Now, my daddy, no, I could never sue him. But he ain't my mama. You know what I mean? And even that, with him not being my mom, I still could not do it. Who? Not even in any, no family members. And I got some family members that, baby, I don't even want them to know my area code. Like, I don't want them to know my area code, my zip code, where I live, where I stay. Yeah, scammer central, you know, and even then, I couldn't. Maybe it's just how you're raised. Maybe that's like, you know what, the 1% does that a lot. Wealthy people, they sue each other. They send each other to jail. It's like their idea of family is not our idea of family. So I feel like with middle class people, because we haven't had the finances. Middle class and low income people have not had the finances to really live like these grand lives. Because of that, we've had more family time, or I don't know, we're just more sensible. I don't see us doing that. And there are some people who do that who are middle class, but I feel like it's more wealthy people who are doing that, like suing each other and sending each other to jail and killing each other. You know, I watch a lot of ID channel, a lot of murders within the wealthy community, especially what is it, mansion murders on the ID channel. It's like all about wealthy people killing each other. They kill each other over money. It could be like an inheritance or something. They will kill each other. It's insane. Insane, like killing their mother. Like, what? I was watching one episode, getting off topic. I was watching one episode and this boy took out his whole family for his inheritance. I'm like, you killed your mother, your brother, and your sister for dollars? Watch out for the 1%. Stay woke. But in all seriousness, Countess Luann, I hope you get the best help that you need. We all love watching you, and we hope that you get better, sis. And that if you can come back, you come back healthier and stronger. We will miss you, but take care of yourself, please. Money can't buy you class, and it can't buy you another life. Take care of yourself, sis. You will be fine. You've weathered greater storms. You will weather this. Love you. And Carol just said what I have been saying the last few reviews. Bethany, if she is not the center of attention, if she cannot control everybody, she makes it hell for everyone. Like, if she can't run the situation or bulldoze it, she will destroy it. Ain't nobody having a good time if she is not having a good time. Because I do think that she's going through a lot of things. I think that it's not different than what she was going through before. And maybe with this restraining order with Jason, it is like pushing her over the edge. But I also think it's because she does not have the status in this group that she had before. Carol isn't, you know, being a pushover for her or being her doormat. You know, Tinsley is standing up to her. Ramona is standing up to her. She does have Sonia on her side, but Sonia is sober and trying to mend fences and get back into good graces with people when she's done stuff, when she has been intoxicated or inebriated. So she's not trying to fan the flames for anybody. She's trying to fight her own battles and stay low and just have a good season. And then Dorinda, who is always there for her, who is even there for her right now, is still not babying her. So she's in a very difficult position because she is used to falling apart and everybody running to her, but she's had so many issues with people. Nobody is like running to her. Like when the Countess tried to go in and she told her no, she ran out and she told the people that she was having, the rest of the girls and Bethany was having a breakdown, and Ramona was like, let's go shopping. Like, they don't care. I feel like she's done it enough. They're over it. I feel like they're in the position of like a parent when a kid just has multiple temper tantrums. I remember I used to as a kid, I used to know that when I had a temper tantrum, especially like in the public, especially at like a market, I knew if I had a full-on temper tantrum and threw myself down, I could get whatever I want. It got to one point where my mom was just so tired. She was just like, get up. And I was like, no, I think I wanted like Frosted Flakes, and we got like flaky Frosties or something like that. And I was like, what is this? I wanted name brand. And she wasn't getting it. So I had a full-on temper tantrum. My mom was like, if you don't get up, I'm leaving. And I was like, no, like screaming, kicking, and everything. My mother turned that card around. I was sitting there screaming and crying. Some lady was like, ma'am, your daughter. She was like, she's okay. She'll be fine. I saw my mother leave out that shopping cart. I saw her like put the groceries in the cart. I saw her turn the key. And like I was sitting up there, like I was like, looking out the window. Like I finally got up and I'm looking out the window and I see her turn the key. Y'all, I got myself together. I ran out to the car. When I got to the car, she was cracking up laughing. She was like, are you done? I said, I'm done. And we never had that problem again. This is what the ladies are doing with Bethany. They're no longer entertaining her temper tantrums. They're just like, nope, if this is what you're going to do, you're going to have a whole meltdown by your damn self. We are not entertaining it. We are in Colombia and we want to have a good time. Sis, you're on your own. Let's do some shopping. And it's working because Bethany got herself together because nobody was paying any attention to her, and Dorinda was not babying her like she normally does. So I feel bad for our girl. I do, but I also gotta side with the ladies. You know what I mean? You can't treat people poorly and think they'll always be there for you. Sometimes you've hurt them so much, they give you distance. Not that they don't love you, but they gotta give you space because they don't want to be hurt by you anymore. So I hope this is a lesson that she learns. Who knows? I am Team Dorinda so far in this episode because I feel like, I know for sure I'm going to turn on her when she makes those comments to Countess Luann. However, she is saying everything that I am like thinking watching this episode. Even with Sonia, like Sonia is doing her best to defend Bethany, but she's doing it in a very careful way because I feel like Sonia now feels obligated to really stick up for Bethany because Bethany has, has really stuck up for her, and I get it, totally understand that. But Dorinda's just like, no, because Sonia is trying to talk to Dorinda about the situation, and she's just like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not saying anything. My lips are sealed. Dorinda's just like, I've gotten into enough trouble with my mouth. I'm going to shut up, and I'm not going to defend Bethany's behavior, and I'm not coming at the girls who, just like I am, are frustrated with Bethany's behavior. All right, Dorinda, I'm with it for now. Oh, Sonia, sis, I hope you're ready for what's about to come. So Sonia goes back to Bethany and tells her everything that the ladies have been saying about her. Dorinda was already up on it. She was already letting Ramona know that Sonia is telling everybody, or telling Bethany what's being said, and basically she said that she's fanning the flames, which Sonia is doing, but I think she's trying to be a good friend to Bethany because Bethany has really defended her in a lot of situations that she has had, especially ones that she's had with Dorinda. But guys, I'm telling you, every time Sonia says something about Ramona, I'm like gagged. I can't believe it. They were such an unbreakable duo. They never talked badly. Well, Sonia never talked badly about Ramona. And I'm thinking that maybe, I'm telling you, sober Sonia came back from that retreat in that desert and she was locked and loaded and ready for Ramona. I think she probably watched the seasons back sober and realized that Ramona wasn't the kindest to her. And I think this season is her get back. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comments section. I'm a very sanitary person, but I disagree with Countess Luann on one thing. I won't eat street meat from anywhere. In America, when I travel, I'm not eating street meat. But the street fruits and things of that nature, I think it's totally fine. I remember when I went to Jamaica, we used to, the guy in my neighborhood where I was staying was selling what was it called? Bag juice? It was like a slushy, if you're from the East Coast, especially Philly and Jersey, a water ice in a bag, and you just cut it and just sucked on this healthy, delicious juice that was kind of frozen. It was actually delicious. And the fruit there was great. I remember I would get coconuts, how Bethany and Sonia got a coconut. I remember getting all kinds of fruit, mangoes. They used to just strip off the outer covering of a mango and just hand it to you, and I would just eat it and mango juice would just drip down. Listen, I cannot, because I'm going back to Jamaica next year, I cannot wait to go back and do just that. So I disagree with the Countess on eating the street fruits and the street juice. I think those are totally fine. Street meats, never. Anywhere I live, anywhere I travel to, I'm not eating no meat you made on the street or you are cooking up on the street. Not for me. So Sonia then told Bethany everything, and now Bethany is freaking out because that's what Bethany does best. And she's calling Dennis to try to get a flight out. And I'm not saying that this is why they're not working, but this is why they're not together. But from watching this, I could imagine him being on the other end, probably at work, hearing his girlfriend frantic and just listening to the situation and just being so people aren't talking to you and you want me to stop what I'm doing and get you a flight from Colombia here? What is wrong? You can't do that? You know what I mean? Bethany has the money, she has the means, she can just tell production she wants to go, but she'd much rather call Dennis and inconvenience him with this petty nonsense from this show. So I can see being her partner could take a lot of work, could really, really take a lot of work. Just from this scene alone, I was just I would have a whole headache if I was on the other end of that conversation with Bethany. I would just be I don't know if it's worth it. Sorry, sis, but whoo, you a lot. I don't eat shellfish, but that paella, whoo, looks delicious. I'm like trying to figure out how I can get to Colombia to get that paella. It, like, my mouth is watering just watching that. Poor Bethany. I'll be like, is there like a non-shellfish option? Oh, she can't even do fish. I would want to do like a cod or like a cod salmon and chicken paella. Ooh, let me try to look that up. I want to see if I can make that recipe because I saw a really like gorgeous paella pan at Sur La Table or Sur La Table. Is that what it's called? I've been shopping there for years. I've never got the right pronunciation of that place. Oh, bougie. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make that. Would you guys watch that if I do like a try to make paella video? We'll see. Let me know if you guys will watch something like that, and I'll try to make it sometime within this year. Because I don't know how my schedule is going to be. But if I have the time, I'll definitely do it. Now, I don't like what Bethany is doing because Carol... like, everybody felt really awkward when Bethany finally sat down because she was, you know, she had this whole breakdown. She wanted people to ask about it. Nobody, like, they are done. They are done playing her game. Nobody asked her about it. And then she tried to make this joke that wasn't really a joke. It was a comment on how they're treating her, and nobody like laughed at it. It was really awkward. It was an awkward lunch. So Carol, Dorinda, and Tinsley decide to leave, and when they leave, Bethany is like, oh, this feels really old school. The old girls. Remember when we used to do this and how it doesn't take 3 hours to get together, like saying negative things about Tinsley. Mad that Tinsley not only is getting all this love from Scott, but also, you know, he sent her a hair and makeup team because he's a man and he loves her and that's what you do. Like, so she's mad about that. She's mad about, you know, just where she's at in her relationship with Carol. And so she's trying to find allies now wherever she can, even like trying to say this feels really old school with Ramona. And her and Ramona ain't been on the same page since the season started. So now she's like grasping at straws, and I don't like what she's doing. She's trying to create division because she's mad that Carol won't play ball. Like, she misses Carol, and she's mad that Carol will not like grovel or like, you know, deal with her episodes. And Carol's done. She's tired. She's just like, stop the crying. We're adults. Do you have an issue? Okay, let's talk about it. If not, Carol doesn't want to deal with all the drama. Bethany is a lot of drama, and Carol is done. And I guess this is also coming from just their friendship outside of the show. It seems to be like it seems to me that it was a lot for Carol to really deal with Bethany, and she's done at this point dealing with Bethany's behavior. She does still want to have a friendship with her, but she feels like, from what I'm getting, that Bethany needs to mature in a lot of ways, and I don't think that's gonna happen because it's not good TV. So now that they're like officially on the out, Bethany's creating this division with the OGs and the new girls, and I don't know if Ramona is gonna play ball with that. She's too messy. But I think that may be the reason why Dorinda and the Countess get into it, because Bethany is planting these little seeds, and the ladies, I don't think they know that they're being played. Let's keep watching. So Carol sits down with Sonia, and she's trying to get some insight as to what's going on with Bethany, because her behavior has increased, you know what I mean? And it's just uncomfortable for everybody. So I think Carol is just trying to figure out, what else can I do to like dead this issue so that we can have fun together, because it's not fun because Bethany is acting out because her and Carol are not where they used to be. And Sonia's trying to explain to her the issue that Bethany misses you and she misses the friendship that you used to have. And Carol said to Sonia, well, it was a lot of Bethany, and now I'm doing me. So that's basically what's going on. Carol realizes that in her friendship with Bethany, it was a one-way street. It has to be all about Bethany and nothing about you. And that's just how it is. And I think it was in poor taste for Sonia to be like, everybody knows that Bethany is a nightmare, but that's what you get when you're friends with her. And that's okay? Like, she's your friend. That's not okay. That's not okay for somebody to like basically torment you within the friendship, and you just have to be there whenever they need something, and it becomes so draining on you that you can't even sit in the same place with them without being emotionally exhausted. That's not okay. And I don't think that Bethany is going to be cool with Sonia saying that and hearing it back at the reunion. She may act like she's okay with it if she doesn't have any allies and it's just her and Sonia. But I feel like if she's in a different place with the ladies, she's going to address that with Sonia. We'll see. I don't know long this reunion is coming up? I think we got a couple more episodes, like maybe 4 or 5 more episodes before the reunion. I think they get like 22 episodes a season. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm glad that Carol finally voiced what her issue was with Bethany. Like, I already knew, we already knew, but I'm glad that she finally voiced it and just was like, it was a one-sided friendship. And we all saw it. I hate seeing her like go after Bethany like a puppy dog, but that's kind of the space that you have to be in with her, because Bethany's a lot. She takes up a room, and if you try to get any space in a corner of a space, and if you try to get any space within their room, she bites your head off. You know, I don't like what Bethany and Carol are doing, because it's like, this is stuff you do when you're a teenager, early college as well. When you get older, I don't know, I feel like you've had enough relationship, especially as women, you've had enough girlfriend relationships where you're just like, I know how to handle this, right? Because they're doing this, talking to everybody in the group about an issue they have with somebody in the group and not talking to each other. Like, I feel like at this age, you should already know that that just stresses out the group. It doesn't help the situation. You guys are adults. Sit down and talk it out. And if you can't talk it out, then maybe your relationship just needs to be surfaced. Because I get that both of them are missing each other and want to befriend each other. But to talk about it to everybody else and get people to take sides and just really make everybody uncomfortable. We're on a girls trip. Let's have a really good time. Deal with your problems back in New York. Either fix it now so we can have a good time, or shut up about it. The both of them are guilty in this. I don't like it. Like, I'm Team Carol with this Bethany situation, but I don't like what Carol and Bethany are doing to this group right now. And then we get to Dorinda being awful to Countess. So that argument starts because of an issue that Bethany and Carol are having. First of all, don't try to work out something at a table. It's rude, it's disrespectful. If you don't want people in your business, get up and walk away. Because I'm Tinsley. If something juicy is happening in front of me, I'm going to sit there and watch it. But Bethany always comes for her because within the context of this group, Tinsley is the weakest link, and she will react in a certain way, but she won't do a Dorinda and come at Bethany and read you for filth, right? So she gets upset that Tinsley is looking at the situation, but I'm like, you're right there in front of her, having, which seems to be a very intense conversation when you two have had beef. So if you're having it in front of me, I got a front row seat, I'm watching it. You don't snap at me, you get up from the table and you handle your situation. And then I also don't like Bethany sitting there acting like she's not geeked that Carol was talking to her and trying to work this out, because before she said she really doesn't care. Now all of a sudden you're giving Carol counsel to talk about the issues with you regarding your friendship. And I'm just like, Bethany always plays so tough, but she's really not that tough. And she really needs to break down that wall and let people in. It's just like, listen, we're human beings. We love, we hurt, we get hurt. It is what it is. You gotta let people in because you are craving love, but you don't let people in, and then you get angry when they don't give you the love that you're craving, but can't nobody get through that wall that she's putting out. So anyway, Dorinda starts watching, and the Countess Luann was wrong. She was wrong. Dorinda's rebuttal was uncalled for. It was uncalled for. It was nasty. It was low. And Dorinda has a problem of when she starts to drink and she gets a little drunk, she does say the mean things that she feels about people. Because the Countess Luann, where I feel like she was wrong, she looks at Dorinda. She's like, oh, she's starting. Oh, here it goes. It's happening. She's turning. Now, that was probably her joking about how Dorinda, when she drinks, she gets out of hand. Maybe Dorinda didn't voice that to her, that she doesn't like that, because she voiced it to Bethany. But obviously Dorinda is dealing with something if she gets to this point where it's like ugly, right? So Dorinda didn't like it. And then she tells the Countess to apologize, and the Countess doesn't apologize. And I'm like, well, the Countess, you said something that hurt her feelings. You probably should, not probably, you should apologize, but she doesn't apologize. So because she doesn't apologize, Dorinda now is full on attack mode, and she just starts saying everything, talking about you're a Countess, but you're not really a Countess. You lost your name because your husband divorced you, and oh, why don't you have another drink, honey, and get another felony, and just like really low blows where nothing that the Countess said at that table tonight was deserving of that. So I can't rock with Dorinda, although I do not believe that the Countess was in the right. That Dorinda's rebuttal, just nasty. And this is what this is what I was talking about earlier in my review. I don't like that about her, especially this season. I don't like how ugly she's getting, especially when she's drinking. It's mean, it's nasty, and they need to address it, because at some point y'all gotta really face the problem that Dorinda has. And it can't be a side conversation. It can't be something that y'all confront her with at the reunion. Y'all gotta talk about it, because it's uncomfortable to watch. So I can only imagine what it's like being in a space with her when she's intoxicated. So this dinner just goes haywire. But Tinsley and Sonia are having the time of their life. Dorinda is saying every horrible thing she could possibly imagine about the Countess right to her face. The Countess is leaving because she doesn't like what Dorinda is saying. Dorinda is still running her mouth. Ramona is trying to stop her from drinking. She turns and gets on Ramona. Ramona gets scared and backs away. But Tinsley and Sonia cackling, kiki, and having a good old girls time. Then you got Bethany and Carol going back and forth, and like, I'm like, how do y'all not hear this? How do y'all not see this craziness that's going on at this table? And the thing about Bethany and Carol, I feel like Carol is trying to dead it. I really, really do. And Bethany, now that she's getting the attention, now she's happy or whatever, but she's not trying to dead it, because she's finally getting this attention that she's been yearning and wanting from Carol. And so now she's like a kid in a candy store. Like, she can't stop herself. She's just going off, telling her about all the problems and all the issues. She's mad at Carol for not coming to her aid when she was crying in the restaurant. That's not a friendship, Bethany. The friendship that you want with Carol is so one-sided, and Carol doesn't want that anymore. So if you guys are going to be friends, the friend that Carol is to you, you got to be to her. And if not, she's going to pull away. She loves you, she misses you, but you have to be just as good as a friend to her as she has been to you. And I don't think that registers with Bethany, because even when Carol is trying to tell her the issue that she had, she said, it wasn't that I wasn't sad about Adam. I didn't like the fact that you told Ramona. If we're supposed to be really good friends, why are you telling other people in the group and me and you are the one who has the connection? And Bethany's like, oh, now we're doing the I said, you said, let's get the judge, like not registering anything. And I think that's one of Bethany's huge problems. She does not, when somebody is telling her that they don't like what she's doing, that they're hurt by her or her behavior, she doesn't take it in. She makes it everybody else's issue, and then she makes it all about her, and she doesn't listen. And people get out of her life. And then she becomes this victim all over again. I'm like, girl, you got to realize where people are leaving you. You are not receptive of love. You are not able to accept love, and you don't give it. And then you get mad at people for not giving you something that you desire, but you're treating them terribly. How is this so hard for her to understand? And whoever keeps on telling me that I'm off with the ages, she is pushing 50. I said that. One time I said that she was 50, but she's pushing it. She right up on that door. She is half a century almost, so she should know this by now. Come on. I don't care what y'all say. The Berkshires, Dorinda was not raised there. If she was, who was she raised around? Because all of a sudden this comes out and she starts calling Ramona a sister. Don't you project your issues on me, sister. I'm like, Dorinda, what is going on? Like, this dinner has gone on and on and on. And Tinsley and Sonia still having the best time ever. The best time ever. Countess will win. She walks away and she comes back because nobody has recognized that she has left. So she comes back to let everybody know that she's leaving and tell them what Dorinda said, so they still let her leave. These ladies don't care. And Ramona's like, I'm staying out of it. Ramona does not want to get into anything, and Tinsley and Sonia just want to enjoy the Colombian night. And Bethany and Carol are still going back and forth. And I'm like, Carol, get out. Like, get out at this point, because you're just not going to get that friendship from Bethany. You're just not, sis. Like, if you become friends with her, you gotta agree to her terms. And I don't think that Carol is there anymore. So Carol is trying to fix it with Bethany. Bethany starts crying and they get nowhere. Y'all too old for this, ladies. Y'all too old for this. And then Carol says something that I have not wanted to say, but it's very accurate. She was just like, it's like being in an emotionally abusive relationship. Like, I'm telling my partner, like, this is what's happening, and they're telling me that's not happening, and they're like gaslighting me, and that is exactly what Bethany is doing. She is gaslighting Carol, telling her like her truth isn't correct, and like, you just she's like messed up in the head because she's just like, I know this happened. I know this was said. I know, and you're telling me no. You're telling me it didn't happen, and I'm like, what is going on? So I agree with her. It does. Being in a relationship with Bethany can be abusive because it's not a give and take. It's just somebody who takes and takes and takes and takes, and then they beat you down, and then they take and take and take and take and take. And I don't know if she'll ever realize that, because I want her to, so she can have much better relationships, because she's always here with anybody in her life. She's always here, but yet she's always the victim. I mean, watching it and just seeing her season after season, I'm like, sis, you go through this every season. You gotta look at your life and just be like, you know what? Maybe it's me. Like, I can't. And let me get Tinsley together, because I didn't like this. So Dorinda is still being evil Dorinda, just saying these nasty things about the Countess. And Tinsley is like hyping her up, saying, oh yeah, I know, she does do that. Now that she's out of rehab, she's so special. Like really feeding Dorinda, and I didn't like it, because Dorinda was wrong and Tinsley should have jumped on that. But I don't know, what is her issue with the Countess, like having a mugshot or a DUI? I think, is she still upset with the Countess because when she got arrested and her mugshot was out there, Tinsley's mugshot was brought back up? So is she blaming her for that? Like, I don't understand how she is making this situation about her and being mad at the Countess for that. It's just like, oh, now that she used to drink a ton, and now that she doesn't, and Dorinda is right, she should have came at her aunt sister. And I'm like, no, Dorinda's not right at all. Like, what are you talking? And Countess never came at her. She made a comment, a joking comment, a joke that hurt her friend. And her friend, who was intoxicated, responded in a way that is ugly. That is in a way that is very alarming, and you think that that person needs to get help. Because it's not like I'm just social drinking and having a good time. It's like I'm drinking and a really dark part of me just, comes to the light. And it's not fair. It's not fair to anybody in her life. It's not fair for her. You know what I mean? It's not fair for her to like watch this back and not see that something is wrong. I don't know, guys. Y'all know I love Dorinda, and I go up for Berkshire's Dorinda. But this is terrible. What she's doing is horrible. It's just as horrible as what she did to Bethany in, was it Mexico or Puerto Rico? Wherever they were at. Because I think they were in Mexico first, and then they went to Puerto Rico. But wherever at that dinner where they were at, and Dorinda just said the worst things in front of people and was not embarrassed after. You know what I mean? Like, she got on the plane like nothing had happened, and I'm like, are you blacking out? Are you not remembering? This is a problem. And I think the cast needs to band together and do something about it, and just be like, you can't come back on this show like this, because they're dealing with a lot. You know what I mean? Can you imagine, like, you're trying to film your scenes, and then you're dealing with this drunk person who you got to keep an eye on, because you don't know when they're going to rage and tear the whole setup. Nah, that's not a healthy work environment. None of these shows are, to be quite honest with you. So, Dorinda really hurt the Countess. She was making it seem like everything was okay, but when she started to talk to Bethany about it, she really broke down. She was just like, this is what my really good friend thinks of me. And they're really good friends, guys. Like, Dorinda was in the Countess's wedding. Like, she was the only one who was invited. So they have a really strong relationship, and I can't believe this is the first time they've ever had this. Like, I don't know, maybe they were better when they were both drinking. I don't know what it is, but I'm also kind of glad that this friendship is dissolving, because I don't think that Luann being friends with somebody who has a similar problem is healthy for her. So she kind of needs to get out of the chaos of Dorinda, because Dorinda is going down that same path, and she's going to need to get help as well. And I don't know if after this season she's going to do something about it, but yeah, what she's doing is ugly, and it has to be addressed. So I think, although it may hurt the Countess, it's probably better that she's not close friends with Dorinda anymore, because it's not healthy to be friends with somebody who is dealing with what you're trying to come out of. It really, really isn't. And it was very odd to me to watch Bethany not only say that, oh, when Dorinda gets upset, she goes low and she's saying like the nastiest and meanest things. And then she's like talking to Countess and consoling her about the nasty things that Dorinda has said to her. And I'm just like, do you remember the Berkshires when you called her a whore for like 8 hours? Do y'all remember that day? Like, Bethany called the Countess everything under the book. Like, she like reached down so low, and not only did she call her that, she yelled, she screamed, she wanted it to penetrate and hurt. And for her to be the one to not only like condemn Dorinda for doing the same thing, but be there to counsel the Countess after an event like that is just, whoo, a weird, odd, unexplainable full circle. I don't understand why these ladies keep on trying to have conversations with Dorinda when she's drunk. Like, first of all, her lipstick, I don't know how it got down there, is like dripping down her, like smeared all around her chin. Carol is trying to have a conversation with her, and I get that Carol and Tinsley and Dorinda are like a clique of friends, right? They're like the new girl clique, and so, you know, they defend each other, but you can't defend each other when you're just being horrible. And I don't like how Carol is trying to defend Dorinda's actions and what she said to the Countess. It's not cool. The Countess was not judging her. She was making a joke that was in poor taste, and it hurt Dorinda's feelings. Everything after that, Dorinda is dead wrong. She should have gotten an apology from the Countess, but Dorinda, like, just went there. And Carol and the Countess was not even in that space. Like, they were good, but she noticed something in her friend. And maybe Dorinda felt a certain way. It's just like, oh, you're not drinking, now you're going to come at me for not drinking, and me and you done did all kinds of stuff. Maybe that's what it is. I have protected you. I've watched out for you. Me and you have done all kinds of stuff. If I said anything on this show, they would be looking at you different. Maybe that's what it is. She's held a lot of her stuff, and she feels like the Countess should allow her to just, you know, flip that switch and go, you know, hell, balls to the wall, crazy on everybody. But that's not okay. She should not have to be your friend and back your poor behavior. So I just, and like, I don't like what Carol and Tinsley are doing. I don't like that Dorinda is not owning it. She always says, I messed up, I did something bad, but then she doesn't really own it, especially in her confessionals. Like, even when she's sobered up, she's still just like, well, you know, tend to your garden and I tend to mine. I'm like, you need to apologize to her, especially if you're her friend. Her good Judy, what you did was terrible, but she's just not taking any responsibility for that. And although she was still intoxicated, Bethany did try to talk to her, and I like what she said. I really, really do, but I don't think that it penetrated, because her confessional, she's not remorseful at all. So, oh man, I can't believe it's one of my favorites. And I don't have a lot of favorites within this franchise, but man, Dorinda, you got to get it together, sis. It's not cute. It's not cute. Anyway, that's where the episode ends. There's going to be more craziness next week, and I will be there to review it. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next week for the following episode of The Real Housewives of New York. Bye, guys.